Hi, this is Rabbi Tzimi Adel of Congregation Kalbnei Yisrael. It's a Bar Zelos, it's a community of Jewish friends, and this is our fifth class, I believe, for this year. This year we're going to learn less of all the halachos, all the laws of Pesach, since it's so late, and I'd rather move on to things that are more commonly used or questions that are usually asked and the real needs as we close in on Erev Pesach, coming into Pesach. So I heard this beautiful story that one of the main editors of ArtScroll, Meir Zlotowitz, Olashon, gave over. He's a Lower East Side guy. So besides knowing the great Rav Moshe Feinstein, and his father was close to Rav Moshe, it seems he had a close connection also with the old Kapitchitz Rebbe Zechus HaGedacha. We spoke about him so many times. The Holy Kapitchitz, everybody respected very much. He was known for his unbelievable good heart, helping individuals, helping institutions, organizations, yeshivas, without getting big fanfare and big, advertisements about it. He did it for Hashem's sake. The three loves of the Baal Shem Tov, right? Love of Hashem, love of his people, and love of the Torah. So his custom was that he would bake the special Pesach matzah that we spoke about a number of times already this year, matzah's mitzvah, whether it means for the whole passover or just for the night of the Seder. And he would do it two times. He would do it, I believe, one on the 5th of Nisan, which is the custom of the original Rebbe's, where he came from, and he would do it on Erev Pesach, the day before Passover, like everybody else does. And he needed help, so he would take some yeshiva boys they felt he could trust and taught them how to do the process. And Meir Zlotowitz was a young boy, I think he said about 7 or 8 years old. He, it seems, was close to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe was fond of him. The Rebbe was fond of every single Jew, man, woman, child. But anyway, he felt close with the Rebbe. And the Rebbe told him, come, you'll come with me. We're going to go bake matzahs. And he saw it, and he couldn't believe it. Like, what a schus to go with the Rebbe. And he saw everything that was going on. After they did this baking the first day, so the Kapitchitz Rebbe had a special present for everybody that helped him, who were volunteering, and each one got an envelope with money in it. And then again, the day before Pesach, the same thing happened. And one fellow, after baking the matzahs, so one fellow came up to the Rebbe and said, Rebbe, you gave me already, you were yaitzer, you gave me already an envelope of money. And everybody knew he wasn't a rich man. He said, you were yaitzer already, you did your you did what's needed of you. And the Rebbe said to him, I wasn't created to do what's needed of me, meaning the minimal. And this went into Meir Zlotowitz's head and his heart. And he always remembered after that, the Jew was created more than just doing the minimal, being yaitze, just coming by. Beautiful story. I'll tell you an unbelievable story before we start another story. about the holy Shatna, the Hosyatna. In Tel Aviv, there lived a great Rebbe, holy Shatna. It's like open prophecy, and there's a lot of stories about him. So, sometime before Rav Weidenfeld, the Shabina Rav, came back from I don't think he was in the concentration camps, but he was definitely in Siberia, working for years and years, and his mind was going on the whole time and learning, though he had no books, no svarim, for years. Very, very great man. So before he came to Israel, the Shatna told one of his people that was a man of means that there's this great rabbi coming from Europe, and I'm asking you to find him a place to live and some source of income, and so that when he comes there, it's a special merit, a special honor that you will cover that Torah, you'll give respect to the Torah, honor the Torah. The guy said, okay, Rabbi, I'll take care of it. Sometime later, he came to him and reminded him, Rabbi, take it. A couple weeks before Pesach, he said to the guy, I asked you to please take care of Rabbi Weidenfeld. Rabbi, I'm going to take care of it. Anyway, he didn't take care of it. Comes the night of Pesach, of the Seder, the first night, and the Holy Shatner would normally fear a tish with his Seder. He would have his Chassidim come over, and he would do the Seder with them, celebrate the holiday with them. And he didn't go into the Seder, and everybody was waiting. They didn't know why he was waiting an hour, 2 hours. And all of a sudden, the wife of this guy comes running into the shul. Rebbe, help! Rebbe, help! And he said, what happened? He said, my husband went nuts. We had the most expensive silverware and everything on the tables and plates and cups and glasses that cost thousands and thousands of dollars. He just took everything and broke it and smashed the window. And what's going to be? He went out of his mind. What's going on? Rebbe, you're a tzaddik, you would know. And she knew why it happened. And she said, Rebbe, I know why it happened. I know good and well, because my husband didn't take care of that great rabbi. And the Rebbe said, yeah, how could we go into the Seder even, meaning himself, knowing that the Shabina Rav doesn't have a comfortable and decent place to be? So she said, Rebbe, I promise you, not after the holiday, but the first day that one may do work in Israel, it's only one day, the first day of Yontiv. So I'll make sure my husband takes care of this great rabbi. She went home and he was healthy, and somehow they made to do. Honoring the Torah, Emunas Tzadikim, having simple faith in what a tzaddik says. Okay, we're in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, chapter 111, the search and nullification of the chametz on the evening before Erev Pesach, the evening before the day before the Seder. The search of chametz must be made. One should make it immediately after nightfall. It is forbidden to begin a meal or do any work 1/2 hour before nightfall. Immediately after the appearance of the stars, says the Mishnah Berurah, a small snack is permitted. Even if one began a meal earlier than the 1/2 hour, he must interrupt the meal when the time for searching begins. Let's see about this time business. $111. one may not even learn Torah, study Torah, and do all the things that are not permitted to do before praying the mincha service, half hour before the night. See what that was the Rav Shulchan Aruch, and the Rabbi Braun in his Siyanim Ba'alacha was always so helpful. What does he say over here? What happens if somebody forgot or wasn't able to or didn't search for the chametz the night before Erev Pesach? So he must do it the day of the 14th, the day of Erev Pesach, or else he does it in the middle of the holiday, and he's also allowed to make the bracha, the blessing of Bir Chametz, which we'll soon see about. And even then, he has to use the candle. Of course, the usage of the candle is something very important, as we'll soon see, because it's not just a practical thing, but it's also because the Halach Chazal, the sages derive it from different verses in the Torah. So we should use a candle. Yep. Now, the basic commentaries, the Magen Avram, the Torah Zav, and the Chayk Yankov, all say that he should really search on the holiday itself, on the Yontif itself. However, the Mishnah Berurah says that that it shouldn't be done like that. He found Rishonim, earlier commentaries, that say it shouldn't be done that, but rather it should be done during Chalamoid, the intermediate days between the first days and the last days. And if Shabbos comes out on Erev Pesach, not like this year the first day is Shabbos, but if the day before the holiday is Shabbos and he forgot to search, we'll learn about that later. Okay. Now, we search for the chametz. In the beginning of the night. So, the Shiar Mitzvah Ba'alacha quotes the Archis Chaim HaChodesh, who quotes a Sefer Orlef Aroi, that someone who had to travel the day that night he has to search the chametz, and he comes home and he's knocked out, and he's so knocked out that he knows that he won't be able to search correctly the way it should be done. He may lie down and tell his family to wake him up after a half hour. But that's only when it's the beginning of the night. But if he comes home 2 or 3 hours after the night began, when people usually go to sleep, then he shouldn't be doing that. He should just tell his family to wake him up. Oh, I'm sorry, so then it won't be good enough for him to tell his family. We'll stop here now. Okay. Have a good night.